right, let's get right into it. When you hear the word Atlantis, what pops into your head? A mythical underwater kingdom, right? Maybe a fairy tale? Well, today's explainer is going to flip that idea completely upside down. We're diving into a fascinating text that proposes a pretty chilling premise. It argues that Atlantis isn't just some ancient myth, but actually a highly accurate, frankly unnerving reflection of our modern world's exact trajectory. It's a story about extreme technological hubris, a total loss of spirituality, and a critical warning for us today. But, as we'll see, it's not all bad news. It also holds a profound message of hope about unlocking human potential.
Now, to make sure we're all on the same page, we are analyzing a very specific source today. It's a text titled Truth of the Atlantis Civilization. The concept of Atlantis originally comes to us from the Greek philosopher Plato. He wrote about it roughly 2,400 years ago. But this source goes further, drawing heavily on 20th century life readings by the famous clairvoyant Edgar Cayce. It expands on those ideas to build a really comprehensive and highly provocative picture of what actually happened. And hey, we aren't here to endorse these views, but rather to impartially unpack the fascinating narrative this text presents about human history.
Section 1. The Atlantis Illusion. So if you're picturing Atlantis as some primitive society with basic stone buildings, yeah, think again. The source claims Atlantis was an incredibly advanced civilization that peaked over 10,000 years ago, reaching a jaw-dropping threshold of scientific advancement. But then, disaster struck with what's called the Great Sinking. And here is the chilling part. Modern humanity has spent the last few centuries rapidly clawing its way back up, and the texts suggest we are now approaching the exact same technological threshold that doomed them. It's literally a 10,000-year echo. Section 2. A warning from the past. This brings us to a really crucial warning. According to the text, it wasn't the technology itself that destroyed Atlantis. It was the mindset behind it. As their technological prowess grew, their spiritual awareness basically collapsed. And the parallels drawn here are just uncanny. Atlanteans reportedly utilized clean energy systems, achieved advanced space travel, and harbored this really dangerous mindset that science rules all. Honestly, it's like a mirror reflecting the headlines of our own scientific pursuits today. Section 3. Playing God, Genetic Manipulation. Now, this obsession with science over soul led to a very dangerous tipping point. The Atlanteans essentially decided they could usurp the role of the divine. The text captures this perfectly in what it calls the fatal belief of late Atlantis. Humans can become gods. They didn't just study genetics, they weaponized it. The claim is that they mass-produced human clones to act as a synthetic slave class for the elite. They completely discarded the idea of a divine human soul, basically reducing life to mere biological machinery. We're really asked to make a direct comparison here. On one hand, you have this historical account of Atlantean genetic engineering, mass-produced clones and life treated as a manufactured commodity. On the other hand, you have modern society's rapidly advancing gene editing technologies. The tough question the source poses is this. As we map the human genome, are we viewing life as a sacred mystery? Or are we too falling into the trap of treating humans as biological machines? Section 4. The Trap of Materialism. All of this scientific arrogance was the result of what the text calls the trap of materialism. The idea is that when a society focuses purely on the physical world, humanity becomes spiritually trapped. And there's this really tragic yet beautiful metaphor for this: the glass window of the mind. Think of it like this. Living a purely materialistic existence essentially breathes fog onto your inner glass window. The more obsessed we become with physical wealth and the material world, the thicker that fog gets, completely blocking out the light of spiritual truth. And according to the text, modern humanity is basically walking around with totally fogged up windows. Section 5. Unlocking Untapped Human Potential. Okay, take a breath, because it isn't just doom and gloom. There is actually a massive message of hope here. Our current material consciousness, literally everything we achieve with our modern intellect, the source claims that only represents about 10% of what we're actually capable of. That leaves a staggering 90% as untapped spiritual potential. 90%. If we can just polish that glass window we talked about, we can awaken dormant abilities, things like profound telepathy and much deeper cosmic connections. We are basically leaving almost all of our evolutionary capability on the table. Section 6. A New Leap in Evolution. This all leads to the ultimate proposition, true evolution. The goal here isn't to suddenly abandon modern medicine or stop space exploration, not at all. Instead, the next leap requires fusing our scientific achievements with spiritual awareness.
The text summarizes it perfectly. Science without a soul leads to destruction. Science with spirit leads to evolution. Relying solely on physical intellect is the exact trap that sank a civilization 10,000 years ago. But by marrying our technological brilliance with a deep understanding of the soul, we could actually be facing a new golden age.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer today. I want to leave you with a highly provocative question to chew on. As our technology accelerates exponentially, as we dabble in genetics and reach for the stars, will we repeat the fatal errors of Atlantis? Or will we recognize the mirror we're looking into, wipe the fog from the glass window of our minds, awaken our dormant potential, and take the next true leap in human evolution? The source text leaves that choice entirely in our hands. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and I'll catch you on the next one.